presentation will make ourselves aware of the rickets situation in Bangladesh, which to many of us has remained hidden for many years. We tended to believe that it's a problem that is quickly vanishing from Bangladesh, but it has come back, and as we particularly note from the presentation, that these are pocketed in some specific areas of the country. It's extremely difficult to control it and to manage it. The cost goes up and they lead a miserable life. And therefore it would be important to identify preventive measures. And some of the preventive measures have some commonality because this would happen mostly through educational activities, awareness activities.
A single case in Bangladesh is enough to create the national sensation. And how much effort and resources are we putting behind the acute AFP cases. But in a particular geographical area, can you think of hundreds of children? Those are being totally disabled due to some sort of disorder. What made? So in one case, I told that let me see as calcium deficiency syndrome. Because the academic medical people, they are very resistant to take it as a rickets. Because of some academic, idea behind their brain. But we thought it as it's a disorder or syndrome that are making children disabled.
Are sensitizing the mothers through courtyard training session on rickets. But Mr. Shahidul Haque of SARPV, one of the 45 partners NGO's executive directors, along with Dr. S.K. Roy, have kindly dedicated their time and efforts to help us realize the consequences of rickets, and at one point he had joined the Rickets Interest Group and the Nutrition Working Group in the country.
National Rickets Survey, conducted by Dr. S.K. Roy and Mr. Shahidul Haque, shows the highest prevalence of rickets in the district of Sylhet and Chittagong division, among which Saturia, Moishali and Bajar, Upazila are in epidemic situation. So we look forward to making at least 50% household aware of rickets. To prevent, we have to work on different levels, including children, their families, volunteers, and authorities. The children and their families should be provided with nutritional advice. And to materialize all the efforts, we must maintain a constant contact with the concerned authorities in the form of workshop, meeting, and awareness raising program at district and Upazila level. If we can organize and work against rickets all our might, but the volunteers, the families, the authorities will stand together, then we can certainly hope for a ricket-free Bangladesh.
NLP are working now 109 Upazila in the different part of our country. We already allotted 25 lakh taka for this ricket survey purpose through government for this study. In future, all support continue to for this purpose. We will work together, and all support will continue in future.
That is, prevention is always better than cure. How we will prevent the ricket? আগে যে মহিলা গর্ভবতী হতে যাচ্ছেন বা প্রেগন্যান্ট হতে যাচ্ছেন তার হেলথটা ঠিক রাখতে হবে। গুড হেলথ, গুড প্ল্যান ওয়েতে প্রেগন্যান্সি হতে হবে এবং নিউট্রিশনাল স্ট্যাটাস শুড বি মেইনটেইনড অফ দ্যাট লেডি। Antenatal checkup during delivery and postnatal checkup. Checkup and care should be taken.
presentation is what we are working from 1991 and today, especially from 2008, we are working with the support of the UNICEF Bangladesh to prevent the rickets through nutritional advice. So we will present our activities and we need your support. And the second thing to show you, if we don't prevent this, then how it is affecting the childhood development. And third one of our major interests, to work on these rickets, we felt from our long experience, we need a rickets society. But informally, from 2007 in Bangladesh, we are running a group which is known as RIG with the initiative of Dr. S.
So whenever we are meeting any policy level or the development partners level, especially World Bank, UNICEF, they are asking us to have a systematic scientific national survey to quantitate the problem, give the significance if government has to have an improvement rate. So therefore, with the voluntary zeal of the nutrition working group, this is a voluntary functional organization of the international NGOs and agencies here interested in nutrition. They developed a Rickets interest group, and 7 or 8 organizations we volunteered to work in the Rickets interest group. Then they are given the task to do a national survey first. SARPV, I have to introduce that organization is primarily working in this area since 1991. So they have the resource, information and modalities of more clinical information and manifestation. So these are the pictures originally we have borrowed from them. But scientifically all of us know that this is a metabolic disorder of bone metabolism, and where vitamin D or calcium is lacking. And in our sunny country, people do not tend to believe that we have any vitamin D deficiency. So therefore the study has got some important, and Mr. Shahidul Haque has shown that with giving simplistic tune in the rice cooking time may be something that is very useful. So the history is, you might be aware that Europe reported in 1600 years there is a ricket, and they had major problem from sun area, unexposure to sunlight. So, and sunlight on the skin produces vitamin D in the body, and vitamin D again from the food takes up the calcium and phosphate and make the strong bone and bone matrix. So that is the real essence of this physiology. So they have the problem from the lack of vitamin D, may not be from lack of calcium. In Australia, Europe, rickets are also seen on the migrant population, and the sun exposed area in Asia, Africa, rickets typically manifest during the 2nd and 3rd year of life. We will see a good range from 1 year to 10 years in our country, and we will see the distribution. Then 28 countries already reported it as a problem. These 28 countries include Tibet, Kuwait, Ethiopia, Yemen, South Africa, Nigeria, Bangladesh, England and USA. So there are other countries also. You can see this is borrowed from the Helen Keller's publication, and you can see that they are spread out in 6 divisions. They have the rickets, both in Rajshahi, Sylhet is higher, Chittagong is the highest, and there are some in Khulna, Odisha and Dhaka division. So the earlier information that was helpful is still helpful, that Saturia was reported to be a very high prevalence of rickets. I found in Cox's Bazar, Sadar and Maheshkali very high, higher than Saturia, but still people do not know that.
And I was asking because we have seen that 21% patient are deteriorating, still they are on nutrition. Do you have any idea why they are not improving but they are deteriorating?
Our observation that where we advise the family to have hygienic things and to have the much more the calcium-rich vegetable, and most of the cases we found that those who didn't maintaining that, in that family it is deteriorating. On the other hand, some families we didn't realize that why, though they are maintaining all the formalities, but still it is deteriorating. It takes the further investigation.
What to do to see by the example of Asian countries or by the example of SARC countries, what measures they are taking about the patient.
This is why you are all here for. We just present the picture of the country. We want to take it up for consideration and careful consideration. I mean, you have heard something and that jump on that is not the thing. Government moves very slowly, but when it moves with a commitment. So therefore, we have presented our data in a consultation meeting. If they are around, you will hear.
It is not necessary that more poor the family is, the household is, more vulnerable the family is towards rickets. Not necessarily. The more poor, more vulnerable to rickets. In that case, how come the lack of calcium-rich food is the main reason?
But the striking feature is why mostly we found in coastal culture the food habit. They don't use the vegetables. Even in 1991, 1992, when we took the vegetables, they would, in culturally actually, their maximum food was meat, fish, and the yogurt. Even till today, they don't drink much milk.
We saw that there is this interventions with June. What my concern is there any risk of having any adverse effects? For example, having renal stones. I mean, is there any study or, I mean, is it tested?
There is no study on that with the using of the chun, whether there is any regulation impact. But what we found that normally if you look at the people, those who use maximum fun, so what is the condition of their life, and those who are not using the fun, because those who use the fun, all the owners, what is the strength and what is the weakness in comparison to that. It's a normal observation, but we don't have any study on that.
I was just reading the executive summary, and it says here, interestingly, rickets was not identified in the indigenous population in the hill tracts. So I was wondering whether any people have looked into that.
Most of the food of the tribes are vegetables and seafish, and they don't use the maximum spices and other things. That is one thing actually. And another thing, the caring during the pregnancy period and after pregnancy, the caring to the mothers is totally different from the mainland people and to the tribal and indigenous people. That is the only thing.
How much awareness is there in the community? 8%. But in terms of prevention, how much awareness are there of preventing it?
It is going on. We showed that we are showing the drama. We are making a talk show. In a different way, we are going to people so that we can measure how much people are aware about the prevention.
But I have a question to Dr. S.K. Roy, that do you have any data about their IYCF practice or breastfeeding practice of these children?
But these are very recalled data because all children, many children have been up to 15 years. Under 5 children is 62%. So even they don't remember. So under 1 to 2 years would be some group that will be given some. We will analyze that and have to say, but then we will not be telling anything about the 80% of the children that we are having now. So this is a problem of, when Rumana is taking a PhD student on that study that how this affects, and if they grow into ricket or don't grow into ricket.
How much government was involved to conduct this survey? Whether you have received any recommendation from DT Health, DT Family Planning or NNP to conduct an.
So therefore, we hope that this government and government machinery with the NNP as well will be taking a very good response to these today's issues.